Hello guys, Terlecki here again. Today I have a video to show you how to use Microsoft Azure AD for centralized identity management. This tutorial will be the first video in a series on how to set up a cloud-native lab environment. I feel that most cloud tutorials and videos always stick to the specifics of its individual platform, which is good, but a lot of times you need to understand how different cloud platforms and providers work together. For example, you could use different things for identity management, security, infrastructure, and DevOps and automation. It's important to understand and get comfortable with these cross-cloud implementations because that's how it's done in the real world. A lot of times, we're not using one or two different services. Sometimes we're using 3 or 4. That's because one platform might not have all the needs and requirements that we need for our specific application or use case. So for today's video, stay tuned and I'm going to show you how we can get started Azure AD for Identity Access Management. Hello guys, Joe Terlecki here. Today I have a video to get you started with centralized user management using Microsoft Azure Active Directory. In this tutorial, I will show you how to configure Microsoft Azure AD to increase security and identity management for cloud-native applications. We'll configure and create all the necessary resources to set a foundation for an enterprise-worthy cloud-native environment without the big price tag. Everything demonstrated within this video will be within the free tier use of Microsoft Azure AD. And then we'll also use some trial periods for some more advanced features. Now that you know what this tutorial is about, why are we working with Azure AD? Mostly because it provides single sign-on and identity management for cloud and enterprise applications. It is good to note that this is not a replacement for your standard on-premise Active Directory, but can supplement it. It will give you increased security and compliance, which you will find everywhere throughout enterprises, small and medium businesses. It also integrates very well with a lot of cloud services, such as AWS, GCP, Azure, Duo, Okta, Salesforce, many more. And since this is a managed service, it is highly available. It also provides free and very affordable options for a simple home lab. And once again, this will lay foundation for an enterprise-grade lab environment. We should always try to create and test things and things similar that we will do in our day-to-day job. Azure AD is actually perfect for it and fits the bill. Now, what are we actually going to create with an Azure AD? We will create our Azure AD environment, the default directory, tenant, and domain. We will register for a P1 license for a 30-day trial for some advanced features. We will create an admin user and a group, and then assign some global privileges to that user and group. Now that you know what we're going to be creating in this tutorial, let's move on with it. You want to move over to azure.microsoft.com, and you will be presented with a similar screen like this. You want to click Start Free and follow all the prompts and sign up for your Azure subscription. And once you're done with that, we'll move on to the next step. After you'd followed through all the prompts and you signed up for Azure, now we need to go to Azure Active Directory and get our license. Once you're at the main portal screen, you want to click Azure Active Directory, wait for the page to load, and then go over to Licenses. Click Licenses. Now you can see we have some options. If you look on the right, you'll see Get a Free Trial. This is exactly what you want to do. Click Get a Free Trial, and you can see the 2 different types of trials that you have available here. Since I have the P1 license already activated, it has given me this extra one, Enterprise Mobility and Security. We're not going to be needing that. So you will see Azure AD Premium P1. You want to click the free trial and click Activate. This will give you 30 days. Some of these advanced features that we're going to use. And once it is up, you can go into the Azure portal and request another 30 days. And when that 30 days is up, you can activate your Premium P2 trial and wash out that 30 days with another. So essentially, you can get 4 months free of Azure Active Directory. We won't be needing much of the P2 features, but P2 will include all the P1. So pretty much you get 4 months of P1 licenses. Why not use it? And why not have fun with it? After you activated your P1 license, now we have to create a user. Let's go back to the default directory homepage and go to users on the left-hand side. You'll notice that you already have one user provisioned in your Active Directory. This is the user that you're actually using right now that was created when you signed up for Azure. You can see that this is your user based upon the Gmail here, which is the email I provided when I signed up for this Azure Active Directory account. But we don't want to use that one. You should always have designated users for your rules. So let's create new user. You want to make sure create user is highlighted. Now we're going to give them some information. Username, call them Doe J. It should be the username for John Doe. Repopulate their names, first and last, and then move on to password. You can pick to auto-generate a password or create one on your own, completely up to you. I'm going to create my own so way I can remember it easy, and then also test to sign in. So I will pick my password and you do your same. After you have your password, go down. Let's give them a job title. Let's call them DevOps Engineer, and department, say infrastructure. If I could only type it. Then hit create. Now we created our first user, but they don't have any permissions. We need to assign it permissions. We could go ahead and assign permissions directly to the user, but it's always best practices to assign permissions through a group. You'd always want to assign permissions to a group if you have multiple users within that group, for instance developers or admins, so that way you can manage all their permissions in one central place. And if they had any one-off permissions, you could just directly assign them to that user directly. So we can go to the default directory homepage, over to groups, and just like we did for the user, hit new group. For group type, we want to select security, and group name, let's call it Cloud Admins. As our DevOps engineer, could be an admin in Azure and be able to manage applications and users as needed. Group description, Cloud Admin Group. And then you can see this option here, Azure AD roles can be assigned to a group preview. Make sure you hit yes. You'll notice it grayed out a few things. We don't need to set an owner, but you probably should during an enterprise network, but for members, let's assign it the user we just created. We can find him right here, John Doe, select. Now you'll see roles, no roles selected. You can see that there are a lot of rules here, a lot of different functionality. But this is a cloud admin. He should probably have admin privileges to as most things as possible. So let's look for global administrator. This global administrator role will have the same permissions that you have as you have for your account right now. Select, and then hit create. And yes. Now we have successfully created our user and group. We've pretty much done everything we need to move forward with a basic lab environment. Now we will move on where I can show you a few things that we're going to be doing with the P1 license and some other features and applications that we're going to be integrating with Azure AD for increased functionality. Everything we've configured so far, it would be a solid foundation for designing and deploying our modest cloud infrastructure. In addition to assigning roles to groups, the P1 license also offers MFA over SMS and conditional access policies for implementing Zero Trust for access. However, Azure Active Directory, in my opinion, is lacking in some of the advanced control and MFA features I would like to utilize and like to demonstrate to you. In the next video, we will be configuring Duo Security to provide some of these advanced features, including multiple MFA options and endpoint health. You'd be able to register your phone for MFA, a hardware token such as YubiKey or Google Titan, and then we can control access based on the operating system or if our system's out of date. So if you like what you've learned today in this small tutorial and would like to learn more about cloud native environments and this humble lab that we're going to be creating, please give this a thumbs up, subscribe possibly, and stay tuned for more. There's going to be more coming. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Have a good day.